apps too. It'll light up if you're watching this later because no one is now, and that's fine. It's early in the morning. Um, a moon is what this incense is called, and I found it at Jan Ross. If you live in Phoenix, she's a local New Age. New Age. That's an older term, occult bookstores. I really like its moon incense. It's got an unusually cool scent to it, which isn't the best way to put that, and I've lost my thing. So, why I'm getting ready is I thought today, as everybody has their piece they have to speak to the world and stuff like that, as gas prices soar and inflation rockets out of control, and there's wars and rumors of wars and monkeypox, formula shortages, cattle dropping dead, climate change, and all those kind of things, I thought I would divert my attention to the important topic of why Star Wars just sucks now under Disney, and why is this? And it's really Obi-Wan, and I have kept my mouth kind of shut for a long time. So when I was 2, Star Wars came out, 1977. I love Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back, waiting in line to see with 5. It's one of my first memories. So I really love Star Wars. So when I saw Obi-Wan, and I haven't even finished the series, but I just, and I'm going to put this in the nicest way possible. Fuck you, Disney. Just fuck you, Disney. And, it kind of starts with George Lucas, and this is a problem with Star Wars since The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi is an okay movie. But ever since then, especially with like the prequels and what Disney's done, is they spend all this fucking money on special effects, actors, CGI, all this kind of shit, but they can't hire one motherfucker at Disney to write a halfway decent script or cross-check their own canon and source material. This is why I'm a huge nerd. If you're watching, I love this shit, so I will go into depth. And what pisses me off about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is I've seen episode 4 so many times, A New Hope, that I can probably quote the whole movie to you and I'll fall asleep while I'm doing it because I've just seen it. I love it. When I was a little kid, I ran around with my Han Solo action figure and playing with my Millennium Falcon and shit like that. So I remember that Princess Leia, when the little hologram shoots out from R2-D2. What is it? You served with my father during the Clone Wars, which the prequels already kind of shit on a little bit. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series just says, fuck you. I'm just going to piss right on A New Hope. Because she doesn't say, remember me, Obi-Wan, when you rescued me when I was a child? Because you would say something like that. But instead, she neutrally says, you served with my father during the Clone Wars. This is just as bad as when Obi-Wan says in A New Hope. George Lucas did this too with R2-D2 and C-3PO. When he's like, I don't recall owning a droid before. Well, no, just R2-D2, Anakin's droid that she had a million fucking adventures with, right? I let that slide a little bit, but the Obi-Wan series, Jesus Christ, how long does it keep getting to slide? So now Obi-Wan Kenobi had a magical adventure with the young and rambunctious Princess Leia, which never needed to be there. This is another thing. When I was a little kid, I never felt like a little kid needed to be in a movie for me to identify with. I didn't want to be 8-year-old Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. I wanted to be 20-year-old Luke Skywalker in, the original trilogy. I don't know about shoving little kids in just for the sake, especially when it ruins the plot. It ruins the plot of episode 4. I have an issue with Rogue One on this too, and this is just a rant about Star Wars today, guys. Thanks for watching. But Obi-Wan Kenobi genuinely irritated me because not only do you served with my father during the Clone Wars, so not once in A New Hope does Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia have an implied relationship besides that. Not one time. It doesn't even come close to it in the entire original trilogy. Makes Obi-Wan Kenobi either be senile or a liar. And then the other thing is, and this is subjective, but it really is when I love Darth Vader, right? Original trilogy, Darth Vader's a badass. And I actually like Hayden Christensen. He's a pretty good actor. The Obi-Wan series' fault isn't the actors. They're great. Ewan McGregor's great. Hayden Christensen's great. He's actually a pretty good actor. People give him shit. But it's the material they're given. This should have never existed. There should have never been another fight after Revenge of the Sith. Because if you watch A New Hope, when we last met, I was but the student, now I am the master. It's very implied that they never had a second duel. I don't care how cool people think it is. I don't give a shit. It doesn't fit for A New Hope. So, in my opinion, you got to watch the canon. Here's like a everybody likes Rogue One, right? And I don't like Rogue One for one reason. The end sequence with Darth Vader is amazing, right? When he's going down the hall and he's busting everybody's ass, it's cool as fuck, right? But it ends with him literally watching. This is a Carillion Corvette. That's how much of a nerd I am. The ship that flies off literally ends with him. Watching that ship fly away, right? So in A New Hope, where the Princess Leia has the dialogue with Darth Vader about oh god, I guess I can quote the film, but I can't. But it's she's like, this is an ambassador ship and stuff like that, and he's like, Darth Vader's like, this is an ambassador ship. Where's the consular? And then he turns, he's Commander, tear the ship apart. I want those plans found. Rather than say, and I'm paraphrasing this, it probably could have been written better. Bitch, I just saw you leave. Don't bullshit me. It doesn't sound as good. It doesn't. It just, somebody has a cool idea for a scene, but a lot of times if you write, you can't just shove a scene in. You have to set that scene up, right? And I think sometimes Star Wars people just fucking say, "Oh, it just would be really cool if we had another fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader." But it wouldn't be without the right context. It gets ruined, in my opinion. Or it would be really cool to see Darth Vader go down there and be really scary. Well, yeah, it would be, and you could have done that a different way, but you didn't have to mess up the continuity of Star Wars. I would think that when people are doing Star Wars, the first thing that they would do is they would really check the canon. Like they would really like if I was going to write a Star Wars movie, I would write, or I wouldn't write, I would watch Star Wars again, right? So I made sure not to mess up. But I don't know. That's what that is. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I do not get it. I do not know why the people at Disney will not hire freaking script writers or fact checkers. Fact checker, I can't freaking talk. Like a fact checker, or like somebody who just does the series Bible. And when you write something, you have to go to that person, and they're a big Star Wars nerd like myself, and go, you can't do that because of this and this, because then you run into the stuff. It's like, and then I hate people who then try to explain later on, like, Rogue One's an amazing movie because it covers a plot hole in A New Hope. There was never a plot hole in A New Hope. The Death Star doesn't have a flaw. It has an exhaust port that's 3 meters. So what is that? 9 feet, 10 feet across. And it's the size of a moon. And you have to put a perfect shot down there to trigger a chain reaction. It didn't have a flaw. If you didn't have the plans, you can never find it. And it's actually addressed in the film where he said, I think the guy says, and the Empire doesn't consider a small one-man fighter to be a threat. Hold on one second for me, guys. So anyway, it doesn't say, literally the expositionary dialogue just covers it in the original series, right? People say there's plot holes in the original movie. No, there's not. Everyone that you think there's a plot hole, somebody already talked about it. Luke Skywalker was a great pilot. They talk about him being a great pilot through the whole thing. He flies to see Bullseye's Womp Rats back home with his D-16. He's not such a bad pilot himself, even though I put a meme on this. People don't respect the writing of Star Wars, and they're ruining Star Wars for it. Star Wars, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back are 2 of the best movies ever made. They have fueled 20 other movies of kind of garbage, progressively getting worse. And it just really makes me sad because people don't bother to really think about what was there before they go ahead and make something new. And that's why Obi-Wan strikes people wrong. This should never have been. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit the canon or the story. And so people are like bigger Star Wars fans and know that it sits wrong with them. And like I said, same thing with Rogue One. There is no plot hole in Episode 4. There is no plot hole in the original 2 Star Wars movies at all. They work together really well. That's how they spawned the whole franchise. And to try to go back and say that, and it's the same thing they try to apologize with Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like, this explains the plot hole. Why did Princess Leia trust Obi-Wan Kenobi so much? She didn't. She was fucking desperate. If you look at the hologram, she doesn't know who else to turn to. She knows a long time ago this guy fought with her father in the Clone Wars. They didn't have this big implied adventure before them. So I'm just really done with Disney Star Wars at this point. And everybody should be. I don't get it. I don't get people applauding this shit. It's beautifully done. The cinematic work is really well done, the special effects and stuff like that. But people don't think about fucking writing anymore. And I don't know. It doesn't work for me. If you liked Obi-Wan, that's awesome. I mean, everybody likes their own thing. Some people really liked Rogue One, and they consider themselves like super Star Wars fans. I don't understand it particularly, but they do. So, I mean, Fords and Chevys is what my dad used to say. But, yeah, I don't know. I've been real let down. The Book of Boba Fett was all right. That was a pretty good show. It ended a little bit too soon, but I like that overall. Most in the first season of The Mandalorian is really well done. The second season of The Mandalorian, I would challenge people who think it's very great. If you took out all the fan service like Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka and stuff like that, would it be that great? There was a lot of fan service in there. I thought the plot arc was kind of but it had that girl from Battlestar Galactica running around in Mandalorian armor, so that made me pretty happy. But I'll leave one final thing because I don't want to go on forever on my rants because I don't think anybody really cares that much. I just want to get that out. Is about stormtroopers, and it pisses me off. Under Disney, and they were kind of this way anyway, and I'm sorry, I got to hit my wizard pipe this morning. So we can think about the knowledgeable subjects. Stormtroopers are fucking dead scary elite shock troops that will fuck you up. And somehow people have gotten a hold of this, and they think because they miss in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, how stormtroopers miss. And I want to address this really quick. Stormtroopers only miss when they're ordered to miss. In the original trilogy. Not since people who don't understand this don't get this. If you watch Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, again, I guess he says a lot of shit that's not true now because everything he said is basically undone by what Disney's done. But anyway, if you believe Obi-Wan Kenobi, he says, these blast points are too precise for sand people. Only Imperial Stormtroopers are so precise. Well, that's funny if they can't hit shit. So why is he saying that, right? But then they get to the Death Star. And I'm sorry, think about this too much. If you watch the opening sequence of A New Hope, stormtroopers rush that Corellian Corvette where Princess Leia is. They wipe everybody out. They lose like one guy and the rest, and they do it like that. It's like nothing. They just board the ship and take those fuckers out. In Empire Strikes Back, the snow troopers, once they hit the fucking ground, they're done. The base is done. They're retreating. There's nothing they can do about it, right? So why do people think stormtroopers suck and they miss? Well, in A New Hope, all of a sudden, stormtroopers don't know how to work doors. They miss easy shots. They let people go. Because if you pay attention to the movie, they let us go. They were ordered by the Moth to make it appear that they escaped. So they lead them right to the rebel base. Stormtroopers only miss when they're ordered to miss. It's the same thing in Empire Strikes Back, where they're deadly on Hoth. Deadly on Hoth. They're fucking the rebels up on Hoth. The rebels aren't winning that fight. You see a couple things, but then they get wiped out, right? Because stormtroopers are badasses. Later on, when they're funneling Luke Skywalker into the fight with Darth Vader, then they start missing because they're ordered to. They're ordered to funnel him to meet Vader so he can go to the Emperor. And in Return of the Jedi, that starts to become a fucked up movie anyway. I could do a whole rant about that. But when people say, well, the Ewoks kicked the stormtroopers' asses pretty easy, then I follow that up with, yeah, and the Ewoks captured the greatest smuggler in the galaxy in The Last Jedi Knight like it was nothing. And they had a Wookiee with them. Ewoks are apex predators of the galaxy. You just don't expect it. It's like cats. They look real cute, so people don't expect it. Next thing you know, you got a fucking spear through your chest and you're being eaten. But yeah, stormtroopers are deadly. Disney kind of pisses on that. Disney pisses on the lore. Disney does not really like Star Wars, and it's really just frosted my ass because when Disney first got Star Wars, I had really was like, fuck yeah, Disney, because they did such a good job with Marvel, and this was back when they first got it. I think Disney's kind of gone downhill with Marvel. And that's not even because Disney's so bad with Marvel. It's just because I think you're going through all your A-list superheroes. Like, I don't give a fuck about new Captain America as much as old Captain America. No offense, Falcon's pretty cool, but I just don't care as much. I don't care as much about the Scarlet Witch as I do like Iron Man. That's just the way it is. But I mean, they do what they got. I guess the new Spider-Man movie, which I still haven't seen, that should show you something because and this is Disney's. I don't know. I'm going to get back to Star Wars. I'm not going to talk about Marvel. Disney has really just keeps consistently fucking up Star Wars. I think a lot of this has to do with Kathleen Kennedy. I am not going to be political about this. I think Kathleen Kennedy sometimes has an agenda, though, and like she wanted a rambunctious Princess Leia. If you'll notice, since Disney's taken over Star Wars, Princess Leia has become like this near mythical figure. I love Princess Leia. She's one of the main three characters. I grew up with Star Wars. I never really thought of her as a Jedi Knight. I knew she had the Force. I really thought she was cool. I thought she was tough. It's like I never thought down of her as Princess Leia, but I never thought like she could have been like more like the last real Jedi and shit like that. I don't get it. I don't get the narrative there. Just like I don't get what they did to the Last Jedi. I'll never understand why someone at Disney, like they have producers, I would assume, or somebody who's taking care of this. When someone gave them the script, when Rian Johnson came up to Kathleen Kennedy, whoever was in charge of this, and said, The Last Jedi is the way we should go. This is how we should treat Luke Skywalker. And somebody said, okay. Somebody said it's okay for Luke Skywalker, this character in Return of the Jedi, voluntarily gives himself up to Darth Vader so that he can be brought before the Emperor, who's basically Space Satan, right? Because he believes his father, despite being a horrible fucking person who's killed millions of people, including younglings, I didn't do Yoda very good, and his mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, can be saved. He really believes it. 15 years later, 12, 15 years later, he's going to chop his nephew down in the middle of the night because he senses darkness in him. He throws away his lightsaber. He wants to run away from it. He doesn't fucking care. Who the fuck wrote that? Mark Hamill, if for some reason this ever went out, that's not your fault, man. He should have had the chance to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure that he kind of talked about way back in the 80s when they said they were going to do this a long time ago when Star Wars first came out. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Disney doesn't care about the source material. They want it. I think maybe sometimes they have an agenda that they want to push. I don't even care about that so much. But what I do care about is that when you spend, I just don't understand it. If I was going to make a movie and spend $500 million on the movie, I would start with a really solid script. And one final fucking thing, too, this pisses me off, and this is why Hollywood sucks now. Back when I was a kid in the 80s, when movies, with the exception of Sylvester Stallone, he can do it all because of rock. I don't know why, but most of the time, 99% of the time, this is true. A director should direct, a producer should produce, a writer should write, a casting agent. Everybody has a fucking job. I don't need J.J. Abrams to write something, direct it, cast it, and do the whole fucking thing because he's not the god of Star Wars. He doesn't. And why did Disney think that? Why wouldn't you hire like 5 writers? Why wouldn't you hire Timothy fucking Zion? And I'm not a big expanded universe guy. I like the movies, but everybody who likes the expanded universe thinks Timmy's awesome, dude. He's written like 5,000 Star Wars books. He loves fucking Star Wars more than anybody. They didn't even consult him. They rip off some of his ideas, but they don't even fucking consult him. That's kind of fucked up. But anyway, if you liked Obi-Wan Kenobi, not a shot on you at all. It's got cool effects. I love Ewan McGregor, but the writing isn't there. And as long as people keep apologizing for it and saying it's okay and shit like that, what's going to keep happening is we're going to still get, no matter how well you polish a shitty story, no matter how much glitz you put on it, no matter how many special effects, lightsaber duels, all that kind of stuff, it's still a shitty story. It's still good. And Disney, please, I'm asking you if you ever see it, hire somebody to check your own movies before you release a script and do it that way. There was no relationship with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia prior to this television series. The end of Rogue One makes it convoluted to the beginning of episode 4. There was never any plot holes in episode 4 or episode 5. You're saying that to create validation for a television show and a movie that probably had no reason to exist. Like Rogue One's a Star Wars movie, war film. Why did it have to be out this? Nobody cared about. I don't know. Anyway, I think there's cool shots in it, but the plot's kind of dumb. And if you don't say that, like the Rogue One plot's good, you didn't see the part where Forrest Whitaker just stands there to face down a nuclear blast, even though you could fit like 15 people still on that shuttle. There's no reason for him to die. It's just like his epic moment. It's dumb. It's just dumb. It's a bunch of shots strung together to create really cool Star Wars visuals. No real plot behind it. It's the same thing with Obi-Wan. Like I said, Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau, I think, is the guy who does all that. Robert Rodriguez and stuff. Those guys love Star Wars. They grew up playing with Star Wars action figures and stuff like that. And I would only tweak those shows a little bit. I think Book of Boba Fett, if you saw it, it's a good show. It ends too soon. It should have been like 10 episodes rather than 7. They should have set some more stuff up. And The Mandalorian first season is one of the best things Star Wars has ever done. The second season, But Obi-Wan, I love Ewan McGregor. I love Hayden Christensen. But there's no relationship between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia. I just don't like it. And stormtroopers are deadly. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Quit shitting on Star Wars, Disney. Pay somebody. You can pay me. I'm cheap. Somebody who loves Star Wars just to sit and fucking fact check. Fact fucking check. Not fact fucking. I don't know, canon check. What's the term for that? Like when you do a television series, I know this from back in the day. I don't know if it's used anymore. They have a series Bible. And you got to like consult it, right? Because that's where like all the canon and shit is. So like one of the writers should have been like, well, no, we can't do this. So anyway, I'm going to keep ranting forever on this. Like I said, there's more important things going on in the world right now, but I love Star Wars. And Star Wars, you know, because the world's so shitty, I like to go to Star Wars to get away from it, not to be let down by Star Wars being shitty now too. So anyway, I felt enough about this that I'd come out without cool lighting and effects and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of talk to you guys. Hope everybody has a really good day, and thanks for listening to me rant. Or if you see this later, yeah. And like I said, if you disagree, you can tell me why if you want to. And again, it's not an argument; it's just an opinion. Damn it, I wish Disney would hire writers rather than spend so much money on CGI. Anyway, talk to y'all later.